A skilled sniper named Drasa hides in a cave for 10 days, patiently waiting for her target. Soon, a plane lands at an airport, and a powerful man steps outside. Drasa wastes no time and takes him out with a precise shot. Meanwhile, a man named Levi receives a message summoning him to a military camp. When he arrives, he meets Bartholomew, a high-ranking official who knows about his military background and deadly reputation as an elite sniper. She offers him a chance to return to active duty for a unique mission. Next, in a small Lithuanian village, Drasa visits her mother's grave with her father, Eric. Eric is dying from cancer and has chosen to end his life on Valentine's Day. Drasa feels sad but respects his decision. She shares a drink with him before preparing for her next mission, which she says will take 1 full year. Later, Levi wakes up from a coma inside an aircraft. He has no idea where he is. His personal belongings are taken away except for an envelope. A soldier tells him he must continue on foot because the area is restricted. Levi parachutes down and begins his journey through different terrains and climates. Then, he finally reaches his destination and meets Jasper, a soldier who has been stationed there alone for a year. Jasper leads Levi to a fully self-sufficient outpost that will be his home for the next year. It has solar panels, a generator, and a rainwater collection system. Across a large gorge, there is an identical tower occupied by a soldier from the eastern side of the world. Contact between the two sides is strictly forbidden. The valley is filled with traps and landmines, making it impossible to cross. Levi's duties are simple: patrol the western perimeter, maintain the defensive systems, and report to command every 30 days. Satellite transmitters, known as cloakers, project false signals to make the gorge invisible to satellites. If the cloakers fail, a final defense protocol called Stray Dog will activate. Jasper does not know what it is, but he warns Levi to run if he ever hears air sirens. For 75 years, both sides have guarded the valley, yet no one knows what lurks below. As Levi settles in, he begins to question the true purpose of the mission. Then Jasper throws a small device into the gorge. Levi is shocked when he hears terrifying screams rising from the depths. Jasper calls them the Hollow Men, but no one knows what they really are. Decades ago, 2,000 soldiers entered the trench. None of them ever returned. Instead of trying to clear it again, the military built a containment system to trap whatever's inside. The next day, Jasper prepares for extraction, leaving Levi alone for his year-long watch. A helicopter arrives and Jasper climbs up using a rope. But as soon as he reaches the top, a man thanks him for his service and executes him without hesitation. After disposing of the body, the man informs Bartholomew that the rotation is complete. In the following weeks, Levi settles into his routine. He patrols the perimeter, maintains the defense systems, and reports back every 30 days. While exploring the outpost, he discovers messages left by past watchers. One message, written by the tower's first watcher, Bradford, in the 1940s, tells him to step into the unknown and find out what lies beyond. Levi often looks through his binoculars to see who is stationed on the other side. One day he spots a woman. It is Drasa. As time passes, Drasa's birthday arrives, and that day, the two watchers begin communicating through binoculars and written messages. She tells him it is her birthday, and Levi responds by writing his name and raising a drink in her honor. Then they test their sniper skills. She fires a perfect shot at his cup, and he shoots her champagne bottle. Suddenly, Drasa notices movement on the gorge's rocky wall on Levi's side. She signals him, and they both see giant, human-like creatures fused with trees, clawing their way up. Levi fires the first shot, killing one of them. Soon, more creatures swarm both sides of the gorge. Levi and Drasa work together, along with automated defenses, to stop them from reaching the top. Then one of the creatures climbs over and attacks Drasa. She barely manages to take it down, but more keep coming. Explosions shake the gorge as the battle rages through the night. Drasa is injured, but she refuses to stop. She knows they are the only ones standing between these creatures and the world. When the sun rises, both soldiers remain alive and alert, waiting for the creatures to return. The next day, Levi repairs the defenses, welding gaps in the fences and resetting the mines. Suddenly, a small missile-like drone emerges from the gorge and quickly flies away, leaving both Levi and Drasa wondering what it was. Months pass, and Drasa and Levi grow closer despite never being in the same room. Then on Valentine's Day, Drasa misses her patrol, making Levi wonder what is wrong. That night, he checks on her through his binoculars and sees her crying. He has no idea that today is the day her father planned to end his life. Drasa writes to him, saying she wishes he were there with her. Her words give Levi a crazy idea. The next day, Levi constructs a makeshift zip line using a modified grenade launcher to fire a rope across the gorge. Yes, he plans to cross and meet Drasa. Once he finishes his preparations, he shoots the launcher, and Drasa secures the rope on her side, making sure it is safe. Then he picks some flowers for his date and launches himself onto the line. After crossing, he finally reaches Drasa's side, and the two watchers meet for the first time. After freshening up, they have dinner together and share childhood stories. The evening is filled with music and dancing, and under the night sky, they grow even closer. In the morning, Levi prepares to return the same way he arrived. But just as he is about to reach his side, a sudden explosion erupts on the wall. The blast snaps the rope, and Levi falls into the thick fog, vanishing into the depths of the gorge. Desperate to save him, Drasa grabs a parachute and her weapon, then jumps into the unknown. She passes through the fog and crashes into a river, which carries her downstream. Struggling to stay afloat, she grabs onto a fallen tree and survives. Meanwhile, Levi is unconscious, hanging upside down from a massive tree. Strange, centipede-like creatures crawl toward him. He wakes up just in time and fires his gun, killing one of them. But the recoil causes him to fall, and before he can react, something reaches up from below. Long, finger-like projections wrap around him, slowly pulling him in. Drasa hears the gunfire and rushes toward him. She arrives just in time, firing multiple shots at the creature and freeing Levi. After their brief reunion, they decide to move toward the fog. But suddenly, they are ambushed by the same creatures that attacked them at the tower, the Hollow Men. This time, the creatures ride grotesque horses, their bodies fused with plants. However, Levi and Drasa have the advantage. With their weapons and training, they quickly eliminate the attackers. As they inspect the bodies, they realize the creatures are wearing old military uniforms. They were officers from the 1940s. Shocked, they decide to find a way out and head south. Eventually, they reach the ruins of a city. As they explore, strange screams echo in the distance, forcing them to take cover inside an abandoned church. Inside, they find skeletons still seated in the pews. Upon closer inspection, they realize these people all took their own lives. But what could be worse than death? Before they can process the horror, spider-like creatures suddenly drop from the ceiling, forcing them into a desperate fight. But things get even worse. The Hollow Men arrive, attacking from all sides. Realizing they can't fight all of them, Levi and Drasa make a run for it. Using explosives, they blast their way out of the church and rush toward the base of one of the walls. There, they find an entrance. Without hesitation, they slip inside and seal the door behind them, locking the monsters out. The entrance leads them into an old underground laboratory filled with skeletal remains. They manage to restore power using a backup generator and access footage left behind by a scientist. She explains that the recording is from 1946. Back then, scientists from both the East and West collaborated to develop biochemical weapons. Their experiment was a success, but a sudden earthquake struck, destroying the facility and releasing a deadly gas. The toxin fused human, animal, and plant DNA, mutating everything in its path and transforming soldiers into the creatures Levi and Drasa encountered earlier. Next, they continue searching for a way out. Along the way, they find an old computer from the early 2000s, belonging to a private company called Dark Lake. As they access the files, they realize Dark Lake has been secretly extracting samples from the creatures trapped within the gorge. Their goal is to engineer super soldiers using the mutated beings. Levi digs deeper and discovers the details of Stray Dog, a self-destruction program designed to obliterate the gorge if containment fails. The system is set to trigger automatically when the cloakers fail, and the safe distance from the explosion is 4.2 kilometers. As they prepare to leave, Drasa realizes her bag, containing all their ammunition, is missing. Levi suspects the creatures are capable of tactical thinking. When they step outside, they see the bag lying ahead and cautiously move toward it. But it is an obvious trap. Suddenly, a hollow man on horseback snatches Drasa with a rope and drags her away. Levi chases after them and reaches a structure leading further underground. Inside, the creature suspends Drasa from a rope, but she manages to break free and engages in a brutal fight. As they exchange heavy blows, Levi arrives just in time and finishes the creature off with his gun. After reuniting, Levi examines the corpse and realizes the creature was Bradford, the first Watcher of the Western Tower. He takes Bradford's sword and they continue their search for an exit. Next, they come across a massive tree, its roots fused with hundreds of dormant creatures acting as a single organism. But as Drasa accidentally steps on one of the roots, the creatures suddenly awaken and attack. Levi uses his sword to cut through them, but they quickly become overwhelmed. Desperate, Drasa fires her grenade launcher, triggering a massive explosion that sets the entire area on fire. They climb out of the underground structure and find a garage filled with military jeeps, each equipped with a winch. Wasting no time, they head to the eastern wall, where they find the broken zip line. With creatures closing in on them, they attach a rope to the winch and begin their ascent. As they rise above the fog, the hollow men start climbing after them, attacking from all sides. With only a few meters left, Levi and Drasa are forced to abandon the jeep. They quickly leak its fuel and ignite it with a flare, using the vehicle as a massive explosive. The blast successfully eliminates the creatures, but the force weakens the rope. With no other option, Drasa cuts the rope, forcing them to climb the rest of the way using only their hands and feet. Pushing through exhaustion, they finally reach the top of the gorge and collapse inside the eastern tower, safe at last. After tending to their wounds, Levi and Drasa decide to check in for their routine 30-day report and finish their watch duty as if nothing happened. Levi tells Drasa that they must destroy the gorge to prevent its horrors from spreading. She agrees and tells him about a place in France where they can stay hidden after completing their mission. Agreeing to meet after their reports, Levi returns to his tower and contacts Mission Control, claiming everything is normal. However, Bartholomew already knows what they did in the gorge. She considers Levi a traitor and immediately orders his execution. She then prepares a strike team and leads the operation herself. The next morning, while Levi and Drasa are on their routine patrol, a helicopter suddenly arrives at the Western Tower. Levi quickly realizes they have been compromised. He shouts for Drasa to run, and they both flee into the forest. Bartholomew finds the Western Tower empty and orders drones to search for them on both sides of the gorge. As Levi and Drasa run, they constantly check their distance from the Stray Dog Protocol activation point, 4.2 kilometers away. But the drones relentlessly pursue them, firing as they run. Suddenly, falling debris knocks Levi down, but he quickly recovers and shoots down a drone. Drasa also takes down 2 more drones, and they push forward, running further from the facility. After reaching the top of a hill, they hit the cloakers, which immediately activates the Stray Dog Protocol. Bartholomew realizes what is happening and orders her team to evacuate her by helicopter. But it is too late. The nuclear bomb arms itself and detonates, unleashing total destruction on the gorge. As Bartholomew's helicopter lifts off, the shockwave slams into it, sending it into a violent spiral before crashing. Meanwhile, Levi, injured from the earlier battle, struggles to escape. The explosion's force throws him off a cliff and into a water body below. Drasa, having executed the plan perfectly, watches from a safe distance. But as she looks back, she wonders if Levi survived. After some time, Drasa arrives in France at their rendezvous point, hoping to see Levi, but he never comes. At sunset, she opens a letter he left for her in case he didn't make it. As she reads, she realizes it is a beautiful poem, and tears stream down her face. 1 month later, Drasa starts a new life as a waitress in a restaurant. One day, while she is working, she notices someone watching her. When she turns around, she sees Levi sitting there. The 2 lovers reunite after surviving hell and back. Then they share an emotional kiss, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.